to see Traore run the bench unit. Yeah. Yeah, I also want to see Traore run the bench unit at point guard. I also want to see Yegor run the point guard spot as a starter. Like I want to see what these two primary ball handlers can do with the ball in their hands, in terms of playmaking, in terms of shot creation. So I think that this gives them both freedoms to do so.
This would definitely be the sink or swim for Day'Ron. Because
I kind of feel like we know what Day'Ron is. Yes, he's
starting. You know what? I really don't.
Center. Like, that's what
he is. I really don't know what he is. I have a feeling that a lot of Nets fans think he's better than he really is. To me, I don't think
per 36 minutes say otherwise. And again,
that's what I'm saying. That per 36, they look at all of those things and they look at the rebounding, and I'm saying, well, then prove it. Prove it on.
Here's my thing, right? If Day'Ron,
let me say one thing here, Gary.
Let me just say one point. We've talked into Andre Drummond before. You know who else has spectacular, like extraordinary per 36 numbers? Andre Drummond. Are you ever actually going to play him 36 minutes a game? Are you going to play him? You know what I'm saying? Like those days are long gone.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Pete. What do you want to say?
I think it's depending, like how are you viewing him, right? Do you view him as a starter? Because I view him as like a backup who could be really good because he does like rebound at an egregious rate, right? You know that you're going to get that. I think it's depending where you put him in what role. Some people see him as a starter, and I would disagree, and that's what I would say about LBL's comment.
And with that, Pete, I'm thinking with Sharp, has he ever had that role for the entire season healthy? Because I'm saying I don't even know if he's a legitimate backup too, because I haven't seen him from the beginning of the year all the way through play that role.
Fair.
The thing with Day'Ron is if you can get him on the floor for 30 minutes a night and he gives you 12 and 12, that's already an upgrade.
But maybe he's like
turnovers, but he'll get 12 and 12. He will.
But maybe he's like Isaac. Maybe he's like Jonathan Isaac, I'm sorry.
Isaac's not a big.
No, I meant JJJ. Maybe he's like him, where you really can't get him on the floor that much because he just fouls too much. That's part of the game. That's part of the game. Learning how to stay on the. But I'm saying that's part of the game. Learning how to stay on the floor.
Well, I just don't think he's a guy that you're going to play starters minutes. I think I view him the same way that I view Andre Drummond and Steven Adams at this point, or Mitchell Robinson even, right? Like you can't play Mitchell Robinson 35 minutes a game.
But you know what? You know what? To me, Andre Drummond was a legitimate starter who you could play 30.
Then he was with Detroit when he was 20 years old. He was phenomenal. He was like 15 and 15. He was great. The game's changed a lot since then.
Yeah, the game. It's like the game has changed around his style of play. But if you still wanted that effectiveness from him, you could get it.
Yeah, but like, who is Andre Drummond guarding? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a problem.
Well, real quickly, Breeze just jumped on. I want to get his thoughts. Breeze, what's going on, bro?
Just happy to be here, man. You guys got a great show, man. What's going on? What thoughts on what specifically?
The overall thing that I've created here. I know that you're a
what happens
so you're not gonna like it, but what would your
what happens to number 24?
Me personally, I want him to take the deal. I think the Bucks win that trade. Personally, I don't see it. You know what I mean? I don't think Kyle Kuzma is a serious guy. Like,
well, he's not. He's not meant to be.
Yeah, I just I think the Bucks win that trade. I don't see how we win it. But just the whole player development, focusing on that. Yeah, the only thing I really wanted to add to what I was saying was, just me looking at what the Nets did to get to the finals in Jersey, they were number one on defense. So when we talking about all of the personnel, I just kind of want us to implement the idea that we should be looking for defensive personnel. You know what I'm saying? Because that's where the spell success for the Nets. You know what I'm saying? Now, that's me generally saying that. I don't know if that's like Gary just said. That was then, this is now. But I do think that for the most part, the fan base has been focused on the offensive side of the ball. But I just think that we need to, pay a little more attention to what defensive personnel that we could acquire. That's all.
So the one thing that I want to add here, and again, like, I'm a sports fan in many aspects, right? Football, basketball, baseball, whatever it may be. I'll compare it with football. I'm a Steelers fan. In 2009, the last time the Steelers won a championship, they had the best defense in the league. The Steelers this past season had a top 5 defense in the league. They lost in the wild card game. Sports change. In the NFL today, you're not going to a Super Bowl unless if you're averaging over 28 points per game. Steelers haven't done that in over 10 years, right? So, point being is basketball changes as well. Yes, did the Nets make a finals 2 decades ago at the start of a decade when they had a great defense and the NBA's league average was probably about 93, 94 points per game? Sure. But when you have a system now where it's not about just offense or just defense, you need guys who can do both. You need guys who can do it at a superstar level on both ends of the floor. The Jason Tatums, right? The Jokic's, the Kevin Durant's, all of these guys have 2 superstar aspects to their game, if not more, right? Jokic, rebounding, playmaking, scoring. Tatum, scoring, rebounding, defense, right? These are the things that you need to look for now. So when we're talking about the offensive side of things, I think there are a few people who, yes, will probably just be solely looking at the points per game, which is another reason why I just don't value certain players as much as others do. But in terms of what I'm looking at, DeBant's the 6'9", 6'10" wing that could score from all 3 levels of the floor and a high intensity defender. That's 2 potential star aspects to his game that he could bring to the NBA. Boozer, elite rebounder, elite playmaker, 3-level scorer. Great for an NBA 2-way guy. Darren Peterson, 6'5", athletic, 3-level scorer, high intensity defender. 2-3 things that he could bring to the NBA at an elite level. So those are the types of guys that you need to add. You got to stop looking at just defense and just offense because neither of those things win a championship. You need to have both at an elite level to do so.
Nah, of course, but more of the conversation been the offensive side of the ball. Even when we talking about the rookies, I did a stream the other day. I was saying, yo, you got to hold them accountable too. Y'all saying all of this and that about Cam Thomas, but what about these rookies and them being developed as defenders in their rookie season? Everybody, we got this and that. I got a lot of pushback, but I think that should be part of their accountability too. Player developing them to be perimeter defenders. That's where we were weak at. When you look at
in Traore and Powell. I think those are the 2 guys that are going to be the better defenders of this draft class. I don't think Jaeger is going to be a great defender. Can he be solid? Sure. I mean, he's 6'8", 6'9". He should be okay as a defender, right? Wolf, 50-50 on just because he looked weak in summer league. Who knows what he's going to look like on an NBA floor? And Seraph, I just have no hope for as a whole, so I don't really care. But Traore has already showcased very good defensive abilities on the perimeter. I think that he's our potential Andrew Nembhard. Powell showcased incredible defensive abilities in college. He reminds me a lot of Herb Jones. So I think they got their 2 defenders. Yeah, do you need more? Sure, but it's a 1 season at a time thing as of right now.
Yeah, no. If we could get 2 out of 5 first rounders that great at perimeter defense, or not even great, but good and working towards being great, I think it's a win for Sean Marks. You know what I'm saying? I honestly don't think Sean Marks has to hit on all 5 picks. But if he could hit 3 out of 5, or maybe 4 out of 5, we win.
Yeah.
No, but I don't know.
What do you mean by hit? Right? Like, what do you mean by hit? Like, he's an NBA player? He's a starter?
Yeah,
full-time
okay. Like the Rick Whitehead to me, the Rick Whitehead is a miss. I know he went to Duke and he was highly scouted from what he did in high school and he missed a bunch of games. But from what I've seen from when he got to the NBA till now, he's a miss. You missed on that pick. Let
me jump into that for a second.
Is a miss? I mean, a hit, like a starter, an all-star, a role piece. What exactly is a hit?
A hit, I would say, like Noah Clowney. Somebody that got developed in that first year in the G League and then came up and showed, strides of potential.
Yeah. So let me jump in here for a second.
I don't see no potential with Dariq Whitehead. But Noah Clowney, yes.
let me jump in here for a second because this isn't even about a Duke thing. I personally didn't really watch that year for Duke with Dariq there just because I was doing a bunch of other shit. But this is a guy who was injured his first season, who requested to stay in the G League to get back to full strength and develop his game. He's barely played in the NBA. How can we say that this is a miss? If we're saying Dariq Whitehead is a miss, then what makes us say that a guy like Cam Thomas isn't a miss? Because he's going into year 5 of well, hold on, because he's going into year 5 of his career, and he has not developed a second aspect to his game. So can you consider that a miss because he hasn't developed in the sense that most players should? Because I think that I think the Dariq thing is an unfair stamp on him.
He's saying he doesn't see any, just like you're saying you don't see anything in Saraf, right? Like you can't call Saraf a miss here, but you're looking at Saraf and be like, "Oh hell no!" Right?
I'm looking at Saraf as the least likely to be good on this one. That's just based on
I'm not.
That's not based on fact, though. You know what I mean? Like when we're coming in saying that Dariq Whitehead is a bust,
I'm not saying he's a bust. I'm not saying I don't even say I necessarily agree with Breezy. I'm just thinking that's the way. And I'll let you answer for yourself in just a minute, Breezy. First off, this thing where he wanted to play in the G League. That pisses me off more than anything on the face of the earth. You should want to play in the NBA against the best competition on earth. You were the number one player in the world, the number one player in the country in high school, and you're a first round pick. Get your ass in the NBA. Stop being a little bitch, right? It's like when fighters say, "I don't want to take a step up." Well, that's too bad, right? You're gonna test yourself. I don't like that. You guys like, not all of you, but some of y'all are like, "Oh, he wants to develop something in the G League." He's being paid millions of dollars. Go put your skills against the best players in the world and see how you fare. I didn't like that. That is a very negative thing to me. I know that
for a guy coming off of the injuries that he's come off of, it makes sense. If he came off of a toe sprain, then
we will tell you. If we don't think you're ready, then we will tell you to go play in the G League. I want your mindset to be, I'm ready to go play 48 minutes today against the best players in the world. I'm 20 years old. I was the number one player in high school. Put me in, coach. I'm ready to play. If you're not, we will tell you to go to the G League. We'll make that call.
Yeah, you're gonna tell a player how he feels.
No. I'm just, if that's his mentality. Like, I'm on a scouting trip right now. The first thing I look for in a fighter is, does he love to fight? If he doesn't love to fight, I want nothing to do with him. I don't care how good he is. I don't care about his skills. If he doesn't love to fight, if he did not want to walk from the fight and be in the pocket and fight, I don't have any use for him. Do I always want him in the pocket in the exchange? No, but he has to love to fight. What Dariq Whitehead is telling me is, I don't want to put my skills up against the best players in the world.
But Gary, wait again, can I say something right here with this? Let's say you're scouting me, right? I'm a boxer, right? And there's a fight coming up, and I know that I'm not 100%. Would I want to be on that stage?
We will make the assessment on that. You have it. We will make the assessment on that.
But what makes us think that they didn't?
I don't know.
What makes us think that they didn't walk into a meeting and say, this is an idea that we have for you. What do you think about it? And he says, "Oh, okay, I actually like that because I don't feel that I'm fully ready just yet."
That could be. And
because we still don't know the full extent of those. We're never going to know the full extent of conversations that go on back, behind closed doors. So to put the automatic assumption that it's, "Oh, I'm scared to play and I don't feel ready and I would prefer to look great here rather than fight here," that's again, it's an unfair label on somebody that we're not sure if that's the truth.
But you know what? You know what's the most interesting thing? They didn't send him to Summer League. He said he wanted to play in Summer League, and they told him to stay in Brooklyn to work out. I think that's something we should talk about. Obviously, you want the rookies to get time, but
that's a good point.
Well, why wouldn't you send him there anyway? I still think you could find minutes rather than someone we never heard of. You want Dariq to at least get some work, right?
I got the answer.
I was going to say, I think the comments are missing why I compared Cam Thomas and Dariq, guys. I'm not saying Dariq is the level of Cam Thomas. I'm just comparing the simplicity of one guy's entering year 3 and has barely played in the NBA. The other is entering year 5, has played a year and a half in the NBA, and still only has one aspect to his game that matches the label of a starting caliber player in basketball. That's the comparison. It's not the player. So please, I know Cam Thomas stands. Calm down.
all I'm going to say is, maybe they didn't let him. Maybe he wanted to play in the Summer League, and the Nets said no because you'll make our draft picks end up looking bad if you're the best guy.
That's hilarious. You're hilarious.
I think it's just simplistic. It's wanting to see all these rookies play high minutes.
Can you imagine if he looked? Can you imagine if Whitehead played and looked better than all of our rookies? Can you?
I would expect a guy that's entering his third year at 21 years old. Yeah, I would hope that.
Yeah, but
that's
He's the
That's
same
like Alex
age as
Sarr
Ball,
looking
right?
better than
Like,
Bub
I
Carrington
mean,
or
right?
looking
No,
better than Trey Johnson.
but you know what? Dylan, there's a chance that if he had played and he just looked like the normal Dariq Whitehead that we've seen, but he was better than those guys, we would be all over this thing. Like, he got these bums. Why did he draft these bums? What's going on? He can't even freaking play a guy that's a marginal NBA player.
That's not really true because realistically, Alex Sarr is heading into his second or third year. He was in summer league this year. He's playing next to Trey Johnson. Sarr and Carrington look levels ahead of Trey Johnson.
Oh no, I
mean,
meant on our team.
No, I know. I'm comparing another team though that had a guy that was heading into year 2 or year 3 and looked better than their rookie. Yeah, you're supposed to look better than the guy who's just coming into the league compared to the guy who's been in the league for a full season or 2 full seasons. That's how that works. I don't. If somebody's getting upset if Dariq was to have played in summer league and it would have looked a level ahead of all of our rookies, if you're mad at that, you're an idiot. It's just that simple. It's that simple.
Well, but it also depends whether he really looked good or they just looked worse. You know what I mean?
I guess. I mean, again, you can't base a guy's career off of 4 summer league games, no matter who the player is. Lonzo Ball looked great, and Lonzo Ball looked horrible in one and looked great in the others. You know, like Ronnie looked.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah, that's making me think that's what hooked up so many people with Cam. That great summer league that he had, and it's like, well, now you got Nets fans for life.
Yeah, look at Dylan Harper, for example. He shot
12.5%
12.5% from 3 in summer league, and you don't hear people saying that he's done. Like, summer league is summer league. Until you're playing 82 games on an NBA floor, nobody gives a shit.
I ain't gonna hold you, Dylan. I gave a shit about Cam Thomas when I seen that summer league, bro.
Well,
I said, yo,
and that's where the love is coming from. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a person that gets attached to players because I'm a fan of my team. I'm not a person that gets attached to summer league performances because you know that they're not as valuable. Like,
no, I was a fan. I don't know if y'all know this, but I was a fan of the Nets before Cam Thomas came in.
No, I know that. I know that.
But what I'm saying is that the first time I even tapped into the summer league was that season. So it was like before that, I wasn't even watching hoops until like preseason. I'm just keeping it real with you. And then once I heard about the draft, I'm like, oh, all right, let me just see it because I was happy about being a podcast. I wasn't necessarily excited about Cam Thomas. I didn't know who he was. I just was podcasting, and the offseason happened, and I still wanted to podcast. So the first chance that basketball happened, I was on it. And I seen immediately at that time, the Nets gave this guy, Cam Thomas, who I didn't know who he was, the green light. He was taking 20 plus shots a game in the summer league. I was like, yo, why they green lighting him like this? And then I seen him hit like a game winner in the summer league, or like off of one leg, like Dirk or some shit. I was like, yo, who is this dude? But now I'm not saying he Dirk. I'm just saying back then, that's where, me being a big fan of Cam Thomas came in. Now I'm saying that to say that I don't think he got his just due when he became a rookie. They didn't even give him minutes. Like, wow, you was the co-MVP of the summer league. Let's, you know what I'm saying, reflect that with the minutes we give you in the regular season. That did not happen. So to your point, Dylan, the summer league doesn't always translate. The summer league doesn't always translate to the regular season. That's true.
No, definitely. And the one thing though is again, you mentioned the co-MVP. Why didn't he get minutes? 2 things. One, Jalen Wilson was. Hold on. One, Jalen Wilson was summer league MVP last year, and we all know how this has played out. 2, he was on a contending team where, again, he showcased no ability in summer league to do anything else outside of scoring. Yes, you were drafted because we know you can score. Show us something else. It was the same thing with Yegor Demon. Okay, we knew you could play make, but we need to see that you could be a floor spacer. He proved something that many analysts didn't think he had. Cam Thomas, in his career, in his 5 years in the NBA, has not proven something outside of what everybody has already known of him. And that's why I'm saying, like, it depends on certain summer league performances, right? When I'm looking at summer league, I'm looking at a guy who is doing something that they're not known to do, to showcase an ability that they weren't fully known to do. Yegor was able to show that he could floor space, even though coming into the draft, he was known as one of the worst floor spacers. So to me, that showcased the sign of, okay, if he can now figure out a way to mesh this playmaking and this floor spacing together, okay, you could be looking at a Halliburton type of player because he does have that level of playmaking to his game and the vision to his game and the IQ to his game to where if he can shoot consistently from 3 at a 38% plus clip and give you 15 and 8 a game, you're looking at a guy who could be your franchise point guard. Right? And I think that's the difference of how people need to analyze Summer League. You're not supposed to look at a guy just based on performance. You're supposed to be looking at what they're improving on from when they were in college or from when they were overseas.
What I think is interesting.
Yeah, but that's they was asking him that. Like they asked him, they gave him the green light. They didn't want Cam Thomas to pass the ball in that summer league. And to push back a little bit, I feel like in this last season he proved that he could be a better defensive rebounder. He got to work on his defense. I'm not trying to go around that and beat around the bush. He got to work on his defense. He got to, and to be specific, he has to. All players do. He has to close out on a 3-point contest better, way better. And that's my own critique on Cam Thomas. Close out on that 3-point contest better. And you know what I'm saying? I got you. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's all I got. That's all I was saying.
Now for Yegor, I would say two of the things, because everybody knew about his passing, at least scouting wise. But I think two of the things that were kind of inverse were his shooting. They didn't know about his shooting. His shooting looks like it's going to be okay because, you know, he looked like he had a nice stroke and everything. Pause. Yeah. And the other thing is with him is what he didn't look like comfortable doing was bringing the ball up against NBA pressure. So I think
and I see that comment here too, right? I'm going to pull it up.
That was the big thing.
Again, you are always going to see positives and you are always going to see negatives in summer league performances. The picture of him's on the screen, right?
Yeah.
This isn't a guy at 18, 19 years old who lives in the gym just yet, right? He even said it in his draft day interview. He thinks he's going to spend more time in the gym than he is on a basketball court. This is a guy who's motivated and understands some of his weaknesses and is going to work on them, right? We've seen time and time again where Cam Thomas's attitude has been, I just want to score. And again, if that's his personality and that's what he feels he's best at, that's great. But when you have guys who are openly acknowledging some of their flaws and willing to work on them compared to guys who still are not working on them, that is what puts that's what separates players who are going to be great and reliable in this league versus guys who are going to be replaceable in this league, right?
I don't know, Dylan. I think he was working on rebounding, man. I can't. Nah, he was working on rebounding and some passing, bro. Jordy demanded it. Hold on. Let me ask Dylan and Gary this. Dylan and Gary, did you not see Jordy Fernandez demanding certain things from Cam Thomas? Like, you're not going to get shot attempts unless you work harder on defense. You're not going to get shot attempts unless you become a better rebounder. So, like, even if you're right, Dylan, Jordy's seen the same thing. And then I seen him pulling Cam Thomas probably earlier. Not necessarily like, you know, he should come out the game because of foul trouble, but he pulled him out the game because Cam Thomas might have missed a defensive assignment. So I'm saying that to say to Dylan and Gary, I seen Jordy Fernandez hold his players accountable if they miss a defensive assignment or a rebound, including Cam Thomas. So I think that will work itself out.
Not a large enough sample size.
Here's what I would say about Cam Thomas, right? Like, Cam Thomas, he is what he is, right? And this thing, yes, can he put more effort in on defense? And he has. His effort has gotten better. He's still not a good, like they said, he graduated from the worst defensive player in the NBA to a very bad defensive player, right? Like, but here's what I'm saying, though, right? Like, I always say, guys, if you want a girl who doesn't dress half naked, go find a girl that doesn't dress half naked. If you want a girl that doesn't live in the club, don't look for your girlfriend at the club. You know what I'm saying? If you want a girl who doesn't sleep around with your friends, don't date a girl who sleeps around, right? But you can't take something that he's not and then make him that. Look for what you want. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you want a girl who dresses modestly, don't go after the girl who's half naked. Go after a girl who dresses modestly. If you don't want, you know what I'm saying? If you don't want a girl who's in the club all the time, don't look for a girl at the club. Cam Thomas is what he is, right? You can't take him now and say, I'm going to make him a Tony Allen defender and he's going to pass the ball like Yegor. It's not going to happen. That's not what you drafted. What you drafted.
Yeah, no, and I just want to jump in here because I pulled the comment up. This is great, right? 2-word answer: Nikola Topic. Nikola Topic came into the league looking frail and at similar height. He was 6'6", 6'7", and was frail. Wasn't able to get by defenders very easily. He tore his ACL. He didn't play a single minute of basketball last year. He gained over 15 pounds of muscle, and in summer league, he was driving by guys left and right. Point being, these are things that can be fixed. Many players in the league who come in with smaller body frames in terms of muscle mass, who are willing to work on it and put on the muscle, are able to do things better once they gain that, right? Giannis was shooting threes his rookie year. Giannis wasn't getting by defenders left and right, averaging 25 plus. Put on muscle and became unstoppable. Same thing could happen for a guy of this nature. When you're looking at a prototype of a player at 6'9" with the vision and IQ that he has, with now the proven floor spacing ability that he has showcased in that summer league performances in terms of efficiency, this is a guy who, if he puts on muscle, can become a guy that can get by defenders. That's how these things work. So you can't say that that's not going to happen, even if he does get in the gym, when it's been proven to happen time and time again with certain players. James Harden's another example. He came into the league frail. When he got to Houston, he was jacked. Was getting by defenders left and right. It comes with time. It comes with experience. That's one thing that I'm not worried about with him.
Okay. Pete, you want to get in on this, Pete? Is Pete
Hi.
there?
What's going on? What's going on?
Can I answer this before we get Pete on this, please?
Go ahead.
We're gonna talk about Dennis Schroeder praising somebody. This is a guy who dropped the bag because he thought he was worth more and ended up being on a league minimum deal. Let's not talk about a dude who should be praising people saying somebody's worth what they're not, because Cam Thomas isn't worth a max. Let's stop.
Did Schroeder actually say that?
Yes, I do remember him saying that in an interview.
And please date it. Please date it. Was that when they were 15 and 15?
He deserved a max salary. Like, all right, that's a good friend. I appreciate you. That's a good friend. Schroeder's being a good dude there. I appreciate that.
Was that when they were 15 and 15 and both of them were averaging over 20?
I'm not familiar with the comment. I don't know.
So that's, because timing is everything, And that's what I was going to...
I have it right here, March 28th, 2024. Dennis Schroeder on Cam Thomas. This is from Michael Scotto, in quotes. That's a max player right there.
So what is that?
What was their record? Do you know?
Well, that's
March,
the season.
in March of last year? I don't know.
This was the very end of 2023-24 season.
I can look it up. Yeah, give me a second.
Got you. Okay.
No, yeah, this was the end. Yeah, this was the end of the 23-24 season. Yeah.
Right.
So
okay.
Considerably. It's when we had first traded for Schroeder with Dinwiddie.
Because they could have extended him in that offseason.
So that was the year that
Schroeder was being a hell of a guy. He was being a hell of a friend, right? Like
that's when Marks crossed Schroeder's name off of possible future DMs.
Like what would Schroeder do? Like what would happen if you'd see Schroeder saying, "Yo, this guy's ass. Like he doesn't deserve $1." Right? Like that's never gonna happen.
Yeah. Again, I think Breezy can even admit Cam Thomas is not a max contract player, right? We're not this far away from the Cam Thomas reality, right? We know he's not a max contract player as of right now.
No, I never gave Cam Thomas the max contract money because of the CBA rules. You got to play 65 plus games to be eligible for.
That's why I do.
No. What I'm saying is, in my soliloquy, bro, availability is huge. You do have to be available, bro. You do. Listen, Cam Thomas played great in those 25 games, but it was only 25 games. I don't think he should be getting a max contract, but I do think that
money to Keon Johnson.
No. I'm saying I do think he should have a player option in the contract, and I do think that they could work something out without breaking the bank for Cam Thomas.
All right, so here, Breezy, this is one thing with the player option. Like if they give him the 2-year with the second year player option, how does that help the Nets? It doesn't help the Nets at all.
See, I wouldn't do that. I would make it a 3-year deal, player option, and the third year has the player option. So
yeah, that's
what
I'm
out and become a free agent in 2027.
Right. The 2-year doesn't do anything.
I'm saying y'all helping me work out the whole scenario of the contracts. Like I told you, I listen more times than on the business side. So I listen to the other Nets fans. Like, yeah. So yeah, make it a 3-year contract and give him the player option in that. But case in point is, I just think that the Brooklyn Nets could use a makeover too. You know, we had a lot of bad run-ins with free agents with Harden, Kyrie, and KD. This opportunity gives us a chance to have a better rapport with the free agents that might want to come here in 2027. And to Dylan's point,
Cam Thomas not showcasing some forms of signs of being a problem? Is he not?
No. I think both. No, I think both of them are being stubborn. I wouldn't necessarily consider it a problem, but I do think that again, the Brooklyn Nets and Cam Thomas could get off their high horse to an extent. The Brooklyn Nets front office just had KD say fire the head coach and the GM. So I don't see the arrogance that the front office should have, even if Cam Thomas is wrong for asking for the money that he's asking for. Yeah, I think they could find a medium. And you know what I'm saying? And what I'm saying is I don't 100% agree with Cam Thomas, and I definitely don't 100% agree with the front office right now on how they're handling things. And that's again to the point of what happened with KD, Kyrie, and Harden. That's still case in point, leaving a bad taste in people's mouth, you know. And they going to 2027, like you said, Dylan. They know that time coming around too, and how the Brooklyn Nets front office handle their business from then till now is going to, you know, be heavily influenced on what players want to come here in the first place. You know what I'm saying? They got to do good business before 2027 for those players that we will want here to want to play here. You know what I'm saying?
Well, okay, so let me give you examples of what would be considered good business in the NBA, right? Cam Johnson getting the contract that he got was considerably good business for role players around the league who want to be on a team, correct? Even though we all know that the contract, he didn't deserve it. We all know that it was an overpay. We all know that we didn't want him here long term. In terms of making NBA players happy and showcasing that you're willing to pay players, that's an example of it, right?
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Okay,
that's one.
Trading him to Denver, a team that's going to be contending. Wouldn't we say that that's looking out for the best interest of the player, right? Because we already know that Sacramento wanted him. Yeah, we already know that Sacramento wanted him. We know that San Antonio wanted him, right? We know that Toronto was looking at him during the draft process. Wouldn't you say that we put him in the best situation possible?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. They did right by Cam Johnson. I give you that. Yeah.
Same thing with Nick Claxton's contract.
Let me cut it 1 second, Dylan. I was gonna say, give me 1 second. Breezy. The pushback I'm going to give you now about the good business thing, the problem with that is how many teams in the NBA do value him? Is it really good business if no one else values him?
That was where I was going to get, right? If no team's offering him any form of contract, if no team's offering him any form of contract and there's no team in the league that has any form of cap space, what makes us as fans think that it's good business to overpay for that when there's no other offer that can be topped?
Well, you know what I mean? Can I answer that question? I think I got a decent answer for this. It just depends on if you value him. Sean Marks doesn't value him, so
exactly, and they've proven that. Yeah,
there's no point in giving him any salary or any contract. He's only going to help you win more games, and you don't want that. You want to play.
But why not value your best draft pick? Who he drafted better than Cam Thomas? Sean Marks himself. What did he do in his draft career that's better than Cam Thomas?
Let me finish my other half of the answer there. If you do value him, like I value him a lot more. I value Mikal Bridges. Then you're going to want to give him a contract that's not an overpay. Yes, there's no one really competing against you, but I want to keep you here. And I'm not going to keep you here at $14 million. So let's come to a reasonable number that we can agree on where I can keep you here. You're not getting 40. That's just as ridiculous as my 14. You know damn well you're not getting 40. How about 20? Let's meet somewhere in the middle. $20 million is not a lot in today's market. You look at the cap, $20 million is not a lot. I think if I said to Cam Thomas, I want you here for the rebuild, and I want you here as we start to compete in 2027 and beyond. So 4 years, $80 million. That's a real offer. Now, I don't know how you guys feel about that, but if they came to that agreement today, I would be perfectly happy with that.
But the problem is that they don't believe that. They don't believe.
I know they don't. So then don't get.
They don't believe that he's a.
Don't give him anything. Don't make him any offer. If you don't want him here, don't bring him back. Say, I screwed up the pick. Cam Thomas is not an NBA caliber player. We don't want him, and be done with him. Right? Like just admit you got the pick wrong. He's no good. You don't want him, and just move on from him. I think it's you know, maybe trade him if you can, but like, what's the point? Just get rid of him. You don't think he's any good.
I don't understand the point.
I don't understand the hand that they're playing here.
The only other thing I would say is we cannot keep comparing Kuminga's situation to his, even though it's about the money that's not there, but also Kuminga is in a much better position if he signs a 1 year as opposed to Thomas, because I think that Kuminga has been showcased enough around the league that people know what his potential might be. And I think even if Steve Kerr buries him on the bench and doesn't play him at all, I think by the next year he'll eventually get some good money. But I'm not sure if Cam Thomas can survive that same outing. If they bury Cam Thomas, if they sign him to the $8 million and they bury him, I'm not sure if he could ever get that opportunity again, to get big.
Because I gotta wrap this up. Me and Dylan have to drop off. Let me give appreciate you, LBL. Let me give Pete and Breezy, our two guests. Guys, do a shout out for your channels and where we can find you, and give us your final thoughts on this Cam Thomas and the roster situation.
You want me to go first, Breezy?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, no doubt. On the roster, what do you mean? The roster right now or Dylan's roster?
Well, just close this out. Give us your thought.
Okay. Good. Okay, I got you.
How he fits in on the roster. Just give us your final thoughts on Cam Thomas moving forward. And then let us know, everyone. Let us know where we can find you.
Gotcha. I'll be quick. Highsmith, a trade. Really like it. Maybe you get another second rounder in the season. We'll see what happens with that. CT. I have no idea what's going on. I think the Nets are personally bluffing. I think you get closer to the deadline, and I think he gets an updated offer, an upped offer. It just makes so much sense to have him come back on a longer deal, like on a 2-year deal, because you want to trade him. You don't want to lose an asset for nothing. You guys can find me at NetFans, on Twitter and YouTube. I put out a podcast every week, and thanks for having me on, Gary.
I appreciate you, Pete. Breezy, close us out.
I agree with Gary. I think they could 20 mil 4 years. I think everybody leaves happy. They could shake hands, leave happy. You know what I'm saying? And it was more that I wanted to say, but I just forgot. Shout to Dylan, shout to Gary, shout to Pete, shout to LBL. This was a great show. Y'all can find me at Big Fan Breezy on YouTube or X. And yeah, man, Nets fans is the best fans, man. I'm looking forward to the next one.
All right, appreciate you guys. Great show, Pete, Breezy, LBL. Thanks for jumping on, of course. August 16th, 2025, from Texas to the world. Thank y'all, and God bless.